Star Wars Jedi Survivor has made some significant improvements from Jedi Fallen Order, and I think these are worth noting. So today we're talking about my top 5 improvements in Jedi Survivor. One thing I noticed after getting my hands on the game for a few hours while out in LA is that there is such a noticeable difference in the feel in the game compared to Fallen Order. Even today, going back and streaming Jedi Fallen Order had me continually thinking about how much better pretty much everything has been in Survivor. So with that said, this is going to be almost a Jedi Survivor versus Jedi Fallen Order comparison to give you guys my favorite changes that they've made in the last couple of years. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like below. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to be subscribed with all notifications on, because there will be a whole lot more Jedi Survivor videos coming in the future. Now, with that said, let's get into the video. Starting off at number 1, the first change that I love is the skill trees. The skill tree in Fallen Order, while it was good, it kind of didn't really give you the freedom to build out a unique version of Cal that you liked yourself. Like, yeah, you could choose which skills you wanted to upgrade first, but eventually we all ended up with the same maxed out skill tree after a few hours of playtime, leaving a lot of the playthroughs looking and feeling exactly the same. So for those of us looking for replayability, there really wasn't much there other than Journey Plus, which pretty much just gave us the Inquisitor appearance and the option to change the difficulty. So there wasn't too much difference in that aspect. With Jedi Survivor, on the other hand, we now have 9 different skill trees to choose from, including 1 from each of Cal's combat stances, 1 for survival, and 3 for the Force. And trust me when I say some of the things you can upgrade are pretty awesome, and when used together, really make you feel like you're in control of a proper Jedi. During my playtime with the game, I chose to focus on the double-bladed lightsaber stance and the dual-wield stance. Focusing on these two gave me an opportunity to unlock a few of the skills on the skill tree for each of them, and believe it or not, I actually had the most fun with the double-bladed lightsaber. This has a whole new range of movements, attacks, combinations that you can do. I didn't really play the single blade all that much because my focus was on double blade and the dual wield, but in just playing those two, it was extremely fun and so much more diverse than the gameplay that we got in Jedi Fallen Order. Once you'd played Jedi Fallen Order for about an hour, you pretty much just had all the same combos, and then as you upgraded the skill tree, everything just felt repetitive, whereas the whole 4 hours I was playing Survivor, I felt like I kept seeing new movements, new animations, different things I could do, and progressing through each of the skill trees just made it that much more interesting, seeing which combinations of skills that I could put together to make a really cool combo that would take out enemies extremely quickly. Now that we've spoken about skills in the game, the next most obvious improvement is the combat. Everything here feels better. The movement, the attack animations, the parry, it all just feels fantastic. They even listened to our feedback from Fallen Order and have added in significant amount of dismemberment to the game, so it doesn't feel like you're just swinging a baseball bat at your enemies, which was one of the biggest complaints about Fallen Order. On top of this, you really feel a noticeable difference in Cal's strength. He's gone from Jedi Padawan that was knighted in the field, but still a bit shaky and not quite as calm and confident as a Jedi, to this powerful force, no pun intended, with a lightsaber. So the combat evolution from Fallen Order to Survivor really does have me excited to get back into the game and seeing just how much of that power we can unlock and control, and what abilities we haven't seen yet, including the different stances. There are obviously still the crossguard stance and the blaster stance, which we really don't know too much about yet, the blaster stance knowing essentially nothing, and the crossguard stance only getting small snippets of gameplay from the trailers. So I'm really excited to dive into those 2 combat stances, max out their skill trees, and just see what Cal can really do in Jedi Survivor. I'm also curious to see that as we progress through the story, are we going to have time to max out all of the skill trees in the game in one playthrough, or are we going to be able to go back, start the story over, and have a different path with different upgrades, different skills that we're going to work through and focus on it, having kind of like a different skill set for each time you play through the game. I think that'll be really interesting to see. At number 3, the scale of the game, and I have pretty much covered this in a previous video, but after playing Survivor, it really is amazing to see just how much bigger the game is, how much more exploring there is to do with the main story, how many side quests are just sitting around the map waiting to be done, hunting for all the cool new cosmetic stuff, and a whole lot more. After 4 hours of playing this game, I'd barely scratched the surface, and I was itching for some more time with the game. Our entire 4 hours was spent on Koboh, and between the main story and the side quests, I was barely even exploring for cosmetics, so I feel as though the completionists will have their hands full with this one. If they're trying to find all the hidden secrets, it's going to take them a long time. And I mean, I was lucky enough to find Cal's mullet pretty early, but you know, if you want that, you're going to have to go digging for it. You don't always just get as lucky as I did and stumble across it in the game. Now, Jedi Fallen Order had 7 planets, 5 of which were main planets, and 2 we obviously had brief visits to in the story. If Jedi Survivor similarly has 7 planets, but they're anywhere near the size of what Koboh is, it's going to take a lot of hours to explore the entire map of each planet. Now, there's no confirmation on how many planets there actually are, how many locations are going to be in the game. All we really know at this point is Koboh, Coruscant, and potentially the Jedha looking planet, which I feel like it is Jedha. It looks too much like it not to be, or whichever sand planet that is. Really, there's only 3 planets that we've seen so far. So if there are more locations in the game, which I assume there will be, and they're all the size of Koboh, this game is going to take us so long to get through. And with the file size being 155 gig, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. It's literally triple the file size of Jedi Fallen Order. So in saying that, the story is going to be bigger, the worlds are going to be bigger, the customization is bigger, everything just has more options to it in Jedi Survivor. Coming in at number 4, customization. The customization has improved in every way in Jedi Survivor. We now have additional upgrades for the lightsaber, from new components, hilt color options, blade color options, and even the level of polish or weathering you'd like the hilt to have, giving you the chance to basically build out any style of saber that you want, whether you want it to be your own custom saber or you want to try and match someone from the movies, or your own custom one. You can pretty much do whatever you want in this case. BD1 also has updated cosmetics, allowing you to customize his photoreceptors, his head, his body, his legs, paint job, pattern, and more. This now really lets you take control and have your own BD1 unit, however you would like him, and not necessarily just the white and red one that we all know and love. If you do want to change it up and you want to make him yours, you definitely can. Cal also gets some new cosmetic features too, with his hair and beard, rocking some weird and wacky designs like handlebar mustaches and mullets, mutton chops, and a whole bunch of other things that you can customize. You can also change the jacket that he wears, his undershirt, and the style and color of his pants. So you can make Cal however you want him as well. Not only does this add to your character customization, but it also adds to the exploration of the map. Checking every turn and corner to find a piece of something, or a new hairstyle, or even a full lightsaber from what I've heard from some creators, it truly incentivizes the player to explore as much as possible and just adds hours onto the game. If you're looking for something long to play through, it's definitely not going to be like Fallen Order. Fallen Order was pretty much 12 to 13 hours start to finish, and that's with exploring. So this game I feel like is going to be at least 30 hours, and we're going to have a fun time exploring it together. Now, finishing off at number 5 is actually the story. Leading off from the end of Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor fast forwards 5 years since Cal's final encounter with Darth Vader. At this point, we have absolutely no idea what happened in that 5 years or what's going to happen. Why aren't Cal, Merrin, Cere, and Grease together? Where are they all? What made them disband? There are so many unanswered questions that we are going to have to experience together and find these things out once the game is released. Now, we know Cal obviously reunites with them all at some point in the game, but what happens when we find them? How do we find them? Where are they? What planet do we have to visit? They're all questions that are going to be answered playing through. Other story-related questions as well have been brought to the surface too, like who's the guy from the Bacta tank? We don't know him. He's from the High Republic apparently. Is he good? Is he bad? Is he going to work against us? How many times do we have to fight him? How are we supposed to defeat Ravus, who apparently is unstoppable because the Gendai species that he is can regenerate limbs? So how are we supposed to take him down? I don't know, but you guys might. Who are the Bedlam Raiders and how do they tie in with the story? All of this is stuff that we don't have, and on top of that, we don't have a single hint of Darth Vader at this point, so hopefully we get a glimpse of him at some point during the game too. Obviously at this point in the story, Cal is still being hunted by Inquisitors. They still know he's around, they know he escaped Darth Vader, so how many of them are we going to see in this game? Is the Ninth Sister going to return? We thought it, we speculated it, we may have seen her foot in one of the trailers. You know, is that actually her or is it just a species one and the same? There are so many questions waiting to be answered with Jedi Survivor, which, you know, we had in Jedi Fallen Order, but nowhere near the same scale that we do now. So wrapping up this video, as I said before, Jedi Fallen Order was a great game to start. It provided hours of entertainment, however, in comparison to Jedi Survivor, it was pretty bare bones. We now have fully realized combat, a fully fleshed out combat system, character development, storyline, a whole bunch of new cosmetics, and so much more that's improved in the last few years. Like I mentioned just earlier, the file size alone is enough to show how much bigger Survivor is coming in at, a massive 155 gig compared to Fallen Order, which was pretty much 50 gig, making Survivor triple the size. So should you buy Jedi Survivor? Short answer, absolutely. Whether you liked or disliked Fallen Order, Survivor is a level up in every sense of the game. With only 2.5 weeks to go until launch, I would even go as far as to say you should pre-order the game. You get some pretty cool bonus cosmetics that Star Wars fans love, and if you're lucky enough to actually find a collector's edition available, whether you have to buy it from somebody reselling it, I think it's worth it. Cal's lightsaber hilt looks absolutely incredible in my display at home because yes, I did luckily get given one while I was in LA. So I know that's going to make a lot of you very jealous, but if you have been lucky enough to pre-order the collector's edition, you made the correct decision. It looks so good and I can't wait for you to get your hands on it. Anyways, that wraps up the Jedi Survivor versus Jedi Fallen Order battle. Survivor wins in every aspect, and you definitely should be excited for April 28th. And with that said, I'm going to get out of here. So make sure you guys leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe below for more Star Wars gaming content in the future. Thank you so much for clicking on another video. I will see you guys in the next one, and may the Force be with you always.